time ever. Never before seen blunders. And now the WB's Outrageous Outtakes. Tonight, it's the WB's biggest shows and brightest stars like you've never seen them before. As we present the WB's Outrageous Outtakes, featuring the funniest screw-ups.
I wanted to talk to you.
Not at all.
And practical jokes. From Dawson's Creek.
Fodder for your radio show? I'm going to understand.
Gilmore Girls.
I fell off the bed.
Smallville.
I'm a madman.
Reba.
How's your Brussels sprouts, Brown?
Everwood. The Jamie Foxx Show.
You mind if I sit there?
Well, of course you guys can. I mean, you can.
On the WB's Outrageous Outtakes. And now, your hosts, from Reba, Christopher Rich and Melissa Peterman.
Good evening, and welcome to the WB's Outrageous Outtakes. Now, Chris, you may find this hard to believe, but in the short time the WB has been on the air, they've already produced some of the most groundbreaking and popular shows in TV history.
Wow, Melissa, you're an incredible suck-up. Relax, honey, we've got the gig. Which is why I'm not afraid to point out that the WB is also responsible for some of TV's biggest flubs, blunders, and other general screw-ups.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So, tonight, we've opened the door to the WB's video vault to bring you an hour of the funniest, most embarrassing, most outrageous outtakes that you've ever seen. And to prove that we mean business, we are going to start with some from our very own show.
Now, anyone who's seen Reba knows that we pride ourselves on being a show for the whole family.
Yeah, absolutely. But even though we're usually like, well, the Cleavers, there are a few moments when we seem to be a bit more like the Osbournes.
Yeah.
You're bluffing.
If by bluffing you mean you didn't pull it out of my butt at the liquor store, then yeah.
What?
What? Drugstore.
You know, with Steve, it's either drugs or liquor. So he kind of,
For sure I am.
You're bluffing.
If by bluffing you mean you didn't pull out of my at the drugstore, then yeah.
This is not the American musical.
Yes, I know. Same spot. Here we go.
In our defense, some risque moments are completely out of our control.
You know, I gotta say, she may be pushy, but some of Arva Jean's party ideas are pretty solid. Look, Mrs. H, I made a doggy.
Now, even though Reba is one of country music's greatest superstars, a lot of people wonder just how well she'd do as an actress on a TV sitcom. Well, I am here to tell you that Reba can screw up with the best of us.
Is that something I just bring up over dinner? How's your Brussels sprouts, Brown? Brown. Bow, bow. That's gonna haunt you. How's the Brussels sprouts, Brown? Brussels sprouts, Brian. Can I say cabbage? No, I'm just kidding you. Yes.
In this next scene, Reba demonstrates one of acting's most valuable skills: how to turn a forgotten line into a dramatic pause.
Honey, I know it's hard. It's hard.
Here, Reba's trying to stick to the script as written.
Okay, look, if the customer service program is still open, not program, position. Okay, look, if the customer service position is still open, I'd like another shot at it.
But when she can't quite nail the writer's words...
Okay, look, if the customer service...
She does her own rewrite.
Look, if that job is still open...
In this next scene, Reba is supposed to surprise her daughter and her son-in-law during a passionate moment. But the surprise is on Reba when she sees that the blonde on the couch is the same woman who stole her husband. Me.
Knock it off!
Hey, listen, it's cool making fun of our show, but it's even cooler to make fun of other shows. Now, in Everwood, Treat Williams stars as a hotshot New York doctor who, when his wife passes away, uproots his kids and moves to a small town. Well, I hope he's got something in his little black bag to treat an outbreak of screw-ups, because there seems to be an epidemic in the small town of Everwood.
Is it true you don't charge for services?
Nasty rumor. Come on in, have a seat.
Actually, I'm glad you called. I wanted to talk to you. Oh my
Can't believe I'm gonna kill myself for a kegger.
Now here, Gregory Smith is trying to quietly sneak out of the house.
Who did that on purpose?
Now, everyone knows that drinking alcohol can impair an actor's performance, but did you know that merely saying alcohol can cause just as many problems?
We gotta come up with a plan. Let's just head over to Ezekiel's.
Brilliant suggestion. After all, doesn't alcohol always tend to help?
Let's just head over to Ezekiel's. Okay?
Brilliant suggestion. After all, doesn't alcohol always tell? What is it? Help to clarify.
Let's just head over to Ezekiel's.
Brilliant suggestion. After all, doesn't alcohol always tend to help clarify things that are matters?
Let's just head over to Ezekiel's.
Not ready.
Okay, here we go. Let's just head over to Ezekiel's. Come on.
Brilliant suggestion. After all, doesn't alcohol always tend to help? No tend. No tend.
Let's just...
Wait, but let me just say it slowly,
sure, go ahead.
Quietly to myself. Doesn't alcohol always help to clarify matters?
Let's just head over to Ezekiel's, okay?
Brilliant suggestion. I'm sorry. Really too late for this, Kevin.
Let's just head over...
Sorry.
You know, working long hours on shows, actors can get real close. And as you'll see in this next outtake between the character of Bright and his father, sometimes a little too close.
Why would you want to run with Bologna?
You should get some sleep. had a rough day.
Seems like you have too.
Night, son.
Night.
I have to admit, I certainly wasn't expecting that.
No, but we are expecting you to stay tuned because we'll be back in just a moment with more of the WB's Outrageous Outtakes.
Coming up, one of Jamie Kennedy's experiments gets busted.
You're Jamie Kennedy. I watch you every Thursday on WB. I know it.
A date with Jamie Foxx goes flat.
Well, I hope everything's not like that.
And from Grounded for Life, the cast and a glass break up.
I love it, Doug.
When the WB's Outrageous Outtakes continue.
Cheese made with 100% mozzarella and 2 zesty
Welcome back. For tonight's show, we went deep into the WB vault to bring out one of the network's first big hits, The Jamie Foxx Show. It was definitely hot, and not just hot as in popular, it was hot as in, well,
But as steamy as the real show got, Jamie's outtakes kicked the heat up a couple of notches higher.
You mind if I sit there?
Well, of course you guys can. I mean, you can.
All right. Go ahead. Well, I hope everything's not like that. Go ahead, baby, go ahead.
You drink this whole bottle of champagne, I'll show you. I'll be out there at 6:58.
Remember the other night? You, Tarzan, me, Jane?
That's right, me swinging from the ceiling fan.
And me calling 911?
Yeah, because I got my caught up.
Oh! I guess we'll be starting from the top.
Some of Jamie's funniest moments on the show came at the expense of the uptight hotel accountant, played by Christopher B. Duncan. Now, in this outtake, you'll see that Chris is the target of Jamie's practical joke.
Sweetheart.
You seem to be ready to bust out. In fits of laughter.
Not here.
What the hell happened? Zara, keep going with the scene. What the hell? Is something on me? What the hell happened?
The whole time I do it right there.
Oh, now who did that? Who did that? I want to know the culprit.
Like any great comic actor, Jamie isn't afraid to ad-lib, or as we call it, go off-script. Sometimes way, way off-script. Like in this scene where Jamie's trying to talk an old friend out of jumping off a ledge. When the conversation turns to a tough girl they knew as children.
Oh, I guess I didn't care when we were kids, and I saved you from that beatdown from Crazy Terry, huh?
Jamie's ad-libs wind up to be dangerously funny.
Crazy Terry was benching 327 pounds in the 4th grade. She had a full goatee by the time we got to the 7th grade. Terry had a penis. She had a little. It wasn't a big penis, but it was little, and I saw it. Because I went out with Terry. And I wanted to get down with Terry. The next thing you know, she pulled her penis out. I said, wait a minute. I said, wait, what the
Now, since Jamie's actually supposed to keep him from jumping, his next take pulls it back a bit.
Oh, and I guess I didn't care when we were kids when I saved you from that beatdown from Crazy Terry, huh? Terry had problems.
Okay, in this next ad-lib, Jamie makes a whole meal out of a meatloaf sandwich.
Fine, you go hungry. I'm gonna go nuke myself a big-ass meatloaf sandwich.
What's with all the big-ass business?
My goodness.
Does she mean the ass of the meatloaf, or?
I'm not sure.
I didn't know meatloaf had asses.
I'm rather curious about the particular condiments that she might use.
So when you're cooking the meatloaf and you're trying to tenderize it, are you considered hitting that ass?
Though Jamie Foxx is no longer on the air, the laughs are. With the new Jamie, the Jamie Kennedy Experiment. The show combines sketch comedy with a hidden camera as Jamie creates elaborate practical jokes to claim his victims. Now, Jamie often wears a variety of disguises, but as you'll see in this next outtake, Jamie's disguises sometimes have a mind of their own.
That's what I'm saying. Our school is run by kids that went to school and they're stupid. What's behind the hair? Oh, I lost my hair. Yeah, let me get that. Well, I just want to let you know that you're on a new hidden camera show called the Jamie Kennedy Experiment. There you go. Give an X. Okay, it was nice meeting you. Thank you. Good to meet you, sir. Have a good one.
Not fooling someone because your wig blows off is one thing, but not fooling a bunch of 6-year-olds
Hello, kids.
is really embarrassing.
My name is Drew. How are you guys? But you guys can call me Jack-O-Lantern.
You're Jamie Kennedy. I watch you every Thursday.
Who?
Jamie Kennedy. Can we come in the house now?
Who's Jamie Kennedy?
That's the person who hosts the show on WB. I know it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me ask you a question.
And she was never heard from again. Grounded for Life is about a very young couple who already have 3 children. In both the show and the outtakes, it's hard to tell the parents from the kids. Here, it's Dad and a nun acting childish.
Don't ever use that tone of voice with me again, Sister Helen, or I will kick your nun ass.
Hey, Dean, you want to go play Dig Dug?
But here, it's the daughter showing her immature side by throwing a plastic cup in the sink.
I love Dig Dug.
Lead actor Donald Logue would definitely be grounded for life if his parents heard some of the ad-libs he tosses at his unsuspecting cast members.
Hey, I don't know what his chart says, but he's in for a colostomy. He's going to adult circumcision. Whoa! Oh, excuse me, he's here for the penile implant?
So what? No.
Me and Eddie?
We had jobs. Like jobs. We were male prostitutes buying shakies on Saturday.
You torpedoed me?
No. What? Your mother misspoke. Is the word torpedo weird for the studio audience, too?
You torpedoed me, darling?
I torpedoed my daughter. 5 times one night. Torpedoed her hard in every which way I could. I torpedoed her out of love.
You torpedoed me?
Where did you go, Mia Farrow?
Did Megan leave?
We have to go away for a few minutes, but I'll be standing right here the entire time. So please, come back. We'll have more of the WB's Outrageous Outtakes.
Coming up, Melissa gives the cast of Reba a lesson in screw-ups.
That way people can organize and theorize them. That's what they call a blooper.
A look back at the Steve Harvey Show's biggest hits.
Try not to
From What I Like About You, the grace and style of Jenny Garth. And what really goes on behind the scenes at Dawson's Creek.
Don't
You can't say to the WB.
All when the WB's Outrageous Outtakes returns.
Welcome back. We missed you.
You didn't call.
All right.
Now, the Steve Harvey Show, starring, guess who?
Steve Harvey?
Yeah, was one of the WB's biggest hits. Steve played a musician who ends up becoming a high school teacher in his hometown of Chicago.
Now, even though Steve was the toast of the WB, this outtake shows that some toasts went a little smoother than others.
I think we should drink to that. To friendship?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Old Steve always had a way with the ladies, but as this outtake shows, they sometimes had their way with him.
Miss Regina called and told me you cleaned her place for me.
Well, wasn't really no big deal. I was just trying to help out.
I know. Now put out your hand.
Try not to out.
Steve's also very secure in his sexuality, whatever it may be.
For your information, Xena Warrior Principal, my man is not threatened. I be having to be a very, very secure homosexual right now.
Steve always played scenes with a lot of feeling.
Dog, am I holding my... Yeah.
Even if it was just feeling himself.
Did the audience hear that?
Welcome to the show.
God, dog. I'm sorry. I apologize to all the kids. I didn't mean this. I ain't think nobody... You got the mic open.
You know, one of the key actors on the Steve Harvey Show was Cedric the Entertainer. And he certainly earned that title, especially when the scene didn't go quite as planned.
What's wrong? It's the police. They arrested Bullethead. Oh, Lord, not Bullethead!
Tells the story of a teenage firecracker, played by Amanda Bynes, and her straight-laced older sister, played by Jenny Garth, who lived together in New York. You know, isn't it amazing how often actors move to LA so they can pretend they're living in New York? Now, as different as these sisters are, you'll see that from these outtakes that screw-ups are definitely swimming in their gene pool. Here, even though she's wearing really powerful glasses, Jenny still manages to trip. Once over her words...
Which hospital? What?
and once over her own feet.
Which hospital? Nana's in the hospital? Which hospital? St. Luke's.
When Jenny's not tripping over her own feet, Amanda's ad-libs are keeping her on her toes.
Holly, what's the name Nana used to call Aunt Mary? Tramp? That's the one. It's really not the one, but... Wait.
As if tramp wasn't bad enough, Amanda's next ad-lib really pushes Jenny over the edge.
Holly, what's the name Nana used to call Aunt Mary? Slutbag hoe?
Is one of my favorites.
Excuse me. You know, folks, I have to say, it really is fun working with Melissa outside of Reba. I mean, she's so beautiful and well-spoken and graceful. But I've got some outtakes from our show where she's not so well-spoken or graceful.
Reba, you can't expect people to perform in front of everybody. They got to do it in private. That way people can organize and theorize them. That's what they call a blooper.
We got to stop drinking before the show.
Thanks a lot, Christopher. Okay, in my defense, the floor was very slippery and diaper bags are very dangerous.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Coming up, a classy family dinner with the Gilmore Girls. From Dawson's Creek, James Vanderbeek makes himself perfectly unclear.
Your show, I'm going to understand.
Christopher shares an honest moment with Reba.
You know what's interesting? I have no idea what I'm supposed to say next.
And a surprise guest appearance from one of the WB's biggest stars. All when the WB's Outrageous Outtakes return.
In its sixth season, the WB's Dawson's Creek has been praised by both viewers and critics for its fresh and realistic portrayal of the teenage years.
Wow, still sucking up,
Yeah,
huh?
you bet.
Yeah.
It's also been a breakout show for many of its talented young actors, such as James Vanderbeek.
Well, As you'll see in these next outtakes, there are times when James has found himself up Dawson's Creek without a paddle.
You know, before this turns into a fodder for your radio show, I'm going to understand. You get to make movies. You get to do this for a living. Somebody gave you the keys to the kingdom, man. You didn't even... You're blowing it. So am I. For that matter. This is great.
You ever wonder why network censors are generally pretty nervous people? Well, these outtakes might give you a clue.
Right.
Don't.
You can't say WB. You can't say. Stop. You can't say that.
Your mum's quite a handsome woman, Larry. Do you mind if I have a go at her? What?
My mother.
You gotta
At least give me first shot.
All right, we'll share.
The Gilmore Girls has become one of the most popular programs on the WB. And one of the biggest reasons for that popularity is the casting of the two leads. Lauren Graham and Alexis Bledel really seem like mother and daughter. Their eyes, their mannerisms, even their ability to screw up.
I fell off the
In this next scene, a smooth ad-lib by Lauren pretty much puts an end to the whole series.
That's why I love you.
Hey, you been here long?
I just realized that I said I love you, which is not really the line.
I love you too.
Well, then the show's over.
Okay.
We have plenty more of the WB's outrageous outtakes to show you, but first, there's this. Some people call them commercials, but I think of them as shopping helpers. Yeah, so stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Coming up, we pay a call to the cast of Smallville.
This will inherit the earth. Is that your fault?
Probably. No, it's not. Yeah, I can't talk right now. I'm in the middle of seeing things.
We find out what makes the Wayans brothers lose it.
What? So I can be depressed at home? No, so that you don't scare any more of our customers. What is this? The Twilight Zone?
And the cast of Greetings from Tucson steps up to the plate.
I am not.
All when the WB's Outrageous Outtakes returns.
Greetings from Tucson is the story of a teenager growing up with an Irish-American mother and a macho Mexican-American father.
Now, in these outtakes, Dad, played by my good friend Julio Oscar Mechoso, is trying to show off his batting skills. Fortunately for the rest of the cast, he's in a cage.
I am not. What the hell?
I'd say that's strike one.
I am not.
Oh yeah, that's strike two.
Angry. I am not.
And you are out of there. As the son, Pablo Santos shares many touching scenes with the actress who plays his mother. This outtake should probably be a little less touching. As you can see, making the other actor uncomfortable is always a favorite sport on the set.
On the Wayans Brothers show, the Wayans brothers play brothers who have different dreams but share the same New York apartment. And as you'll see in these outtakes, when the screw-ups begin, Sean and Marlon start getting on each other's cases like, well, brothers.
Why don't you take the rest of the afternoon off? For what? So I could be... So you could be what? I said, for what? So I could be... What's the damn... I knew it started with a D. I was like, what? Degraded at home? Why don't you take the rest of the afternoon off? What? So I can be depressed at home? No. So you don't scan anyway? What you laughing about? For what? So I can be depressed at home? No. So that you don't scare any more of our customers away. Let's do it one more time till you get that right. For what? So I can be depressed at home? No. So that you don't scare any more of our customers. What's going on, Gizmo? For what? So I can be depressed at home? No. So that you don't scare off any more of our customers. I said the door, you're lying. There you go. For what? So I can be depressed at home? No. See? What is this? The Twilight Zone? We got stuck on this one. All right, we got it.
For Marlon, this next robbery scene was really a pain in the butt. But even when they got it right, for some reason, he asked to do it again.
Okay, here you go. Wait, is it? What line is it?
It doesn't matter, that was perfect.
One more. I'm starting to enjoy it. I want to do this all day. Let's try it without the pants.
Okay.
Can we put in a song?
You know, before Clark Kent became the Man of Steel, he was the teenager of, well, probably the occasional zit. And Superman's adolescent years are the basis for the WB's hit show Smallville. Now, in this first outtake, young Clark has a scene with his future nemesis, Lex Luthor. But it's not the powers of X-ray vision that thwart Lex this time. It's the powers of modern-day electronics.
Yours will inherit the Earth.
Is that your phone?
Probably. Yeah, I can't talk right now in the middle of a scene, thanks.
Now, people often wonder how Lex Luthor turned into such an evil villain. Well, if the old adage, you are what you eat, is true, this outtake should explain a lot.
Well, I was going to give you a few tips, but it looks like you have everything under control.
Oh, Clark, my family had a ranch in Montana. I could eat good. I just eat good. I'll just clean up all Watch this. I'm a madman. Look at that. Woo!
Now that, of course, was a prop cow pie, at least as far as we know. Okay, we're coming to the home stretch here, and we've saved our most outrageous moments for last because, well, that's just good television. So don't go away.
Coming up, David Boreanaz shows us another side of Angel. Plus, surprising outtakes personally selected by one of the WB's biggest stars. All when the WB's Outrageous Outtakes returns.
WB hit Angel stars David Boreanaz as a centuries-old supernaturally powered vampire with a conscience who's taken up residence in L.A. Unfortunately, not in my apartment.
You know, L.A.'s probably the only place in the world he can find people freakier than he is.
Come on, me.
But you know, Angel doesn't have to worry. As you'll see in these outtakes, he's not afraid to dance with the bad guys. Sometimes, literally. Now, one of Angel's greatest qualities are the high-end visual effects. But as magical as they look in the finished episodes, special effects can result in some painful but pretty funny outtakes. Like this one, where Angel looks like he's auditioning for Smallville.
This isn't the end.
Well, folks, we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight.
Not so fast, Chris. It's not over yet.
Oh, hey, Reba, ladies and gentlemen, Reba McEntire.
Hey there.
So, what? You've been watching us this whole time?
Oh, I sure have. And I'd really like to thank you, Chris, for showing all those little mistakes I made and all those little mistakes Melissa made. So I thought the least I could do is share with the audience a couple of pieces of film I discovered, you know, just sort of lying around my office. Take a look. Want to bet?
Reba, this is going to infect me. You know what's interesting? I have no idea what I'm supposed to say next. But if I did, let me tell you.
Why are you here?
Oh, Dr. Schmitten. Oh, sorry, was that my... I had Mexican for dinner.
WD-40 there. And for our final clip, let's hear Chris try to say final.
No, I just figured that we'll wait until the divorce is time. Wait, Panger. No, I just decided we will wait until the divorce is time. Hana. No, I figured that we'll wait until after the divorce is final and final, and...
Okay, Chris, now the show's over. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Reba. And thank you all for tuning in tonight to the WB's Outrageous Outtakes. Say goodnight, Christopher.
I'm afraid to talk now.
That's not all bad. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.